This one thing made my art like 10 times better, and I didn't even have to pick up a brush or a pencil, and that's photography. Now, you don't need a crazy camera like this. You can definitely use your phone, but if you're just using your camera for selfies or cat pics, you might be sleeping on one of the best ways to improve your art without actually doing art. Now, I know photography is art, that's not what I'm saying, but here's how photography secretly makes you a way better artist. First of all, it trains your eyes like crazy. You start noticing things with light about how it actually hits things, not just like light and shadow, but how it wraps around things or little reflections and stuff like that. But my favorite thing that it helps is making your compositions way stronger. Every single time that you take a photo, you're practicing layout and composition, where stuff sits, how much space is around it, what pulls the eye. And then it can also make value way less confusing. Try editing your photos in black and white. Seriously, you'll start to see the darkest darks and the lightest lights where they actually are, and then suddenly shading won't feel like a guessing game as much because you're starting to see that entire range. And while you're editing your photos, you can also play with things like contrast so you can really see what I'm talking about. And then also a great thing is you're building your own reference library. So stop Googling things like weird hand pose at 1 a.m. and start taking photos of your own hands, your life, your personal stuff. And that's what your art needs. And then also it teaches you about layers. Photos work in foreground, midground, background, and things that we know exist, but you might not be seeing them until you're looking through a lens. And then you start noticing things like color temperature without even trying. Ever wonder why some shadows feel cool and then others feel warm or things like that? You're going to be able to study color composition without needing a color wheel. And then you're also training your visual memory on autopilot. You're starting to shoot things and notice things about like light and angles and weird little surfaces and texture and things like that when you're not even trying. So, yeah, go shoot your coffee mug, your messy desk, or your shoe if you want. It counts. And let me know how you think that photography can actually help your art.